You can leave. I'm a single mom." Those words hung in the air between us, her eyes challenging me to walk away like so many others had before. Little did she know, I was fighting the same battle on the other side of the parenting trenches. If you've ever felt that moment when your heart stops and your future hangs in the balance, stay with me. This story might just change how you see love after loss. If this resonates with you, please like this video and subscribe to see more stories that prove second chances come in the most unexpected packages. My name is Daniel, and 6 months ago, I wouldn't have recognized my life. My daughter Lily was my entire world after my wife passed away 3 years earlier. Between school drop-offs, soccer practice, and bedtime stories, dating wasn't even on my radar. The thought of bringing someone new into our carefully balanced lives terrified me. What if Lily didn't like her? What if I was betraying Sarah's memory? What if I wasn't ready? The morning it all began was ordinary. Chaotic in the familiar way single parent mornings always are. Lily had spilled orange juice on her school uniform. I couldn't find my car keys, and we were running late. Again. "Daddy, your hair looks silly." Lily giggled as I frantically searched under the couch cushions. I caught my reflection in the hallway mirror, disheveled hair sticking up in all directions, dark circles under my eyes, and a toothpaste stain on my shirt. This was fatherhood in its rawest form, and I wore it like a badge of honor, even on the hardest days. We finally made it to Lily's school with seconds to spare. As I rushed her toward the entrance, I collided with another parent, sending her coffee splashing across both our shirts. "I'm so sorry!" I stammered, mortified. When I looked up, I met the most striking hazel eyes I'd ever seen. They belonged to a woman with dark curly hair and a smile that somehow didn't falter despite the coffee now soaking her white blouse. Well, I was planning to change when I got to work anyway. She laughed, dabbing at the stain with a tissue. Her name was Elena, and she had a son, Max, in the same grade as Lily. We exchanged numbers so I could pay for her dry cleaning, and I found myself smiling the entire drive to work. My best friend James noticed immediately when I walked into our shared office space. "What happened to you? You look happy." He raised an eyebrow suspiciously. "I spilled coffee on a beautiful woman and ruined her shirt. So basically, I'm crushing this whole dating thing," I joked. James leaned back in his chair. "You should ask her out." "I'm not ready," I said automatically, the same response I'd given for 3 years. "Daniel, Sarah would want you to be happy. You know that." His voice softened. "Lily deserves to see her dad happy too." Those words stayed with me all day. That evening, as Lily and I made dinner together, I found myself staring at Elena's number in my phone. "Who are you texting, Daddy?" Lily asked, standing on her step stool to reach the counter, where she was carefully tearing lettuce for our salad. "Just someone I met today," I said casually. "Is she pretty?" Lily asked with the directness only a 7-year-old could manage. I nearly dropped my phone. "Why would you ask that?" Lily shrugged. "Aunt Kate says you need to find a pretty lady to make you smile more." My sister's meddling knew no bounds. But looking at my daughter's innocent face, I realized she was right. I hadn't been fully living since Sarah died, just existing, going through the motions for Lily's sake. That night, after tucking Lily in, I sent Elena a text. Not about dry cleaning, but asking if she'd like to have dinner sometime. Her response came almost immediately. "I thought you'd never ask." We arranged to meet at a small Italian restaurant the following Friday. Kate agreed to watch Lily, though not without a thorough interrogation about Elena and several unsolicited fashion suggestions. The night of the date, I changed shirts 3 times and nearly canceled twice. The last time I'd been on a first date, I was 24 and carefree. Now I was 35 with a daughter, a mortgage, and a heart that had been shattered and carefully glued back together. When I arrived at the restaurant, Elena was already there, looking stunning in a simple blue dress. My nervousness evaporated as soon as she smiled. "No coffee to spill on me tonight," she teased as I sat down. "I'll try to restrain myself," I promised. Conversation flowed effortlessly. We talked about our jobs. She was an architect. I was a graphic designer. We shared funny stories about our kids. We discovered we both loved hiking, old movies, and had an unhealthy addiction to true crime podcasts. "So," she said, twirling pasta around her fork, "how long have you been single?" The question I'd been dreading. My wife, Sarah, passed away 3 years ago. Cancer. The words still felt raw in my throat. Elena reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "I'm so sorry, Daniel." "It's been a journey," I admitted. Lily was only 4 when it happened. Some days are still really hard, but we're finding our way. "I can't imagine," she said softly. "You're doing an amazing job with her. She's such a sweet girl. Max talks about her all the time." "What about you?" I asked, ready to shift the focus. "Are you divorced?" Something flickered across her face, hesitation, perhaps even fear. She set down her fork and took a deep breath. "Daniel, I've had a wonderful time tonight, and I really like you. But before this goes any further, there's something you should know." She paused, her fingers nervously tracing the stem of her wine glass. "You can leave. I'm a single mom." I stared at her, confused. "I know you're a single mom. Max is in Lily's class." She shook her head. "No, I'm not divorced or widowed. Max's father was never in the picture. I got pregnant after a brief relationship in college, and when I told him, he wanted nothing to do with us. I've been on my own from day one." The vulnerability in her eyes broke my heart. I realized she was giving me an out, expecting me to judge her, to see her differently. "Elena," I said gently, "I'm a single dad. Why would I walk away from a single mom?" Her eyes widened. "You'd be surprised. Once men find out I had a child out of wedlock, as my grandmother would say, they tend to disappear. They assume I'm looking for a father for Max, or financial support. Or they think there's something wrong with me, for getting myself into that situation." Anger flashed through me at the thought of anyone making her feel less than the incredible woman sitting before me. "Well, those men are idiots," I said firmly, "and they missed out on knowing someone pretty amazing." The relief on her face was palpable. "You have no idea how terrified I was to tell you. I almost canceled tonight because of it." "I almost canceled too," I admitted. "I was afraid you'd think I wasn't ready to date, that I was still hung up on Sarah." "Are you?" she asked softly. I considered the question carefully. "I'll always love her. She gave me Lily and some of the best years of my life. But am I still hung up on her? No. I've accepted that my life has to move forward, even without her in it." Elena smiled. "That's all anyone can ask for, honesty and an open heart." As we shared tiramisu for dessert, Elena told me more about her journey as a single mother. How her parents had initially been disappointed, but ultimately became Max's biggest supporters. How she'd worked full-time while finishing her degree with a baby on her hip. How she'd built her career from the ground up, proving everyone who doubted her wrong. "You're incredible," I told her, and I meant it. "So are you," she replied. "Raising Lily alone after such a loss. That takes tremendous strength." When the evening ended, I walked her to her car. Under the soft glow of a street lamp, I hesitated, suddenly feeling like a teenager again. "I'd really like to see you again," I said. "I'd like that too," she replied. Our first kiss was gentle and brief, but it sent electricity through me that I hadn't felt in years. As I drove home, I realized I was smiling, really smiling, for the first time in too long. Kate was waiting up for me, pretending to watch TV but obviously dying for details. "Well," she demanded as soon as I walked in. "It was nice," I said, trying to downplay it. "Nice. That's all I get?" I watch your child so you can have a social life, and all I get is nicey." I laughed. "It was more than nice. She's special." Kate's expression softened. "I'm happy for you, Danny. Really." Over the next few weeks, Elena and I continued seeing each other. We took things slowly, meeting for coffee or lunch, talking for hours on the phone after our kids were asleep. We were careful not to involve Lily and Max yet, wanting to be sure about our feelings before complicating their lives. But children are perceptive. One afternoon, Lily looked up from her homework and asked, "Do you like Max's mom, Daddy?" I nearly choked on my coffee. "Why do you ask?" "Because you smile when you talk to her on the phone, and you look at her pictures on your phone when you think I'm not looking." Busted by a 7-year-old. "Yes, I like her very much. Would that be okay with you?" Lily considered this seriously. "Does she make you happy?" "She does." "Then it's okay." She returned to her homework, then added, "Mom would think it's okay too." Tears pricked my eyes. "How do you know that?" Lily bugged. "Because Mom always wanted us to be happy. She told me so when she was sick." The wisdom of children never ceased to amaze me. The real test came a month later, when we decided it was time for a proper introduction. We arranged a picnic at the park, neutral territory, where the kids could play if things got awkward. I was a nervous wreck that morning, changing Lily's outfit twice and packing enough snacks to feed a small army. "Daddy, why are you so jumpy?" Lily asked as I checked our picnic basket. "I just want today to go well." I admitted, "It will," she said with complete confidence. "Max is my friend, and his mom makes you smile." What could go wrong? Everything I thought, but kept it to myself. When we arrived at the park, Elena and Max were already setting up a blanket under a large oak tree. Max was showing Elena something on his tablet, and they were both laughing. The sight made my heart swell. "There they are!" Lily exclaimed, already running ahead. Elena looked up and waved, her smile brightening when she saw us. Max, a quiet boy with his mother's curly hair, gave a shy wave. "Hi, Mr. Daniel," he said politely when we reached them. "Hi, Max. You can just call me Daniel if you want." The kids were awkward at first, despite knowing each other from school. The context was different, and they seemed to understand the significance of this meeting. But soon enough, a frisbee broke the ice, and they were running around the grass together. Elena and I sat on the blanket, watching them play. "So far, so good," she said, leaning slightly against my shoulder. "They're amazing kids," I replied. "We did something right." "We did," she agreed. "Though I can't take all the credit for Max. It takes a village, as they say. My parents, my sister, our neighbors, they all helped when he was little." Same with Lily. After Sarah died, I couldn't have managed without Kate and our friends. We unpacked lunch, and the kids rejoined us, flushed and happy from playing. As we ate sandwiches and fruit, Max suddenly asked, "Are you my mom's boyfriend?" Elena nearly choked on her water. "Max!" "Well, are you?" he persisted, looking at me with curious eyes. I looked at Elena, silently asking permission. She gave a small nod. "I am," I said. "Is that okay with you?" Max studied me seriously. "Do you make her happy?" I smiled at the echo of Lily's question. "I try to. She laughs more now," he observed. "And she sings in the shower again." Elena turned bright red. "Maxwell James! What, you do?" He insisted. "You used to sing all the time. Then you stopped, and now you do it again." I caught Elena's eye and mouthed, "You sing in the shower." She covered her face with her hands, but I could see she was smiling. "My daddy smiles more too," Lily chimed in, not to be outdone. "And he doesn't burn toast as much." "Traitor," I whispered to her, making her giggle. The ice thoroughly broken. The afternoon flowed naturally. We played frisbee as a group, fed ducks at the pond, and got ice cream from a vendor. By the time we were packing up to leave, it felt like we'd crossed an important threshold. As the weeks turned into months, our separate lives began to intertwine. Family movie nights, weekend hikes, homework sessions with both kids at one of our houses. Elena and Max became fixtures in our lives, and we in theirs. It wasn't always smooth sailing. There were jealousies and adjustments. Lily had a meltdown one night when Elena helped her with her hair, screaming that only her mom was allowed to do that. Max resented sharing his mother's attention and acted out by refusing to speak to me for an entire week. We navigated these waters carefully, respecting boundaries and acknowledging feelings. We never tried to replace the missing parents. I wasn't trying to be Max's father, and Elena wasn't trying to be Lily's mother. We were creating something new, something that honored the past while building toward the future. 6 months into our relationship, I took Elena back to the Italian restaurant where we'd had our first date. After dessert, I reached across the table for her hand. "Do you remember what you said to me here?" I asked. She smiled. "You can leave. I'm a single mom." "And do you remember what I said back?" "You said you were a single dad, and why would you walk away from a single mom?" I squeezed her hand. I think about that moment a lot. How close we both came to letting fear stop us from finding each other. How many people miss out on love because they're afraid of being vulnerable? "I was so scared," she admitted. "I'd been rejected so many times before." "Their loss," I said firmly. "The greatest gift in my life has been finding someone who understands exactly what it means to put a child first, who knows the challenges and the joys of parenting alone." I took a deep breath and reached into my pocket, pulling out a small velvet box. Elena's eyes widened. "Daniel, I'm not proposing not yet," I clarified quickly. "This is a promise ring. A promise that I'm in this for the long haul, that I see a future with you, with our children together as a family. When the time is right, when we're all ready, I want to make it official. But for now, I just want you to know that I love you, Elena. You and Max have brought joy back into our lives when I thought it might be gone forever." Tears spilled down her cheeks as I opened the box, revealing a simple silver band with a small sapphire, the color of the dress she'd worn on our first date. "I love you too," she whispered. "You and Lily, more than I ever thought possible." As I slipped the ring onto her finger, I thought about the journey that had brought us here. Two broken people who had found strength in their brokenness, who had built lives centered around the children they adored, who had taken a chance on love again despite the risks. 6 months later, we moved in together, a chaotic blending of households that involved endless discussions about bedroom arrangements, bathroom schedules, and whose furniture would go where. The kids alternated between excitement and anxiety, testing boundaries and adjusting to new routines. On our first night in our new home, after the kids were finally asleep, Elena and I collapsed onto the couch, surrounded by half-unpacked boxes. "Are we crazy?" she asked, resting her head on my shoulder. "Completely," I agreed, kissing her forehead. "But the best kind of crazy." A year after our first date, I proposed properly, with both kids' involvement and blessing. We were married in a small ceremony in our backyard, with Lily as the flower girl and Max as the ring bearer. During the vows, we included promises not just to each other, but to each other's children as well,